Good afternoon to those who listen. It is October 25th, 2025, 12:58 p.m., and this might be the beginning of the end. Wow. All right, this is coming from Prepper Watch News. So this is one of his. This is our Grand Supreme News, Lewis. He's, I guess, his other channel. But all right, so wow. So we already know that SNAP benefits are ending, at least until they get the government up and running again. And states have been talking about, and I should have put a video out about it before, but I didn't. States are talking about using state of emergency so they can issue emergency funding for the food stamps. And let me just show you, I did this on the 23rd. This is from, I keep notes from Mike from around the world. And he says, since the shutdown happened, states will take control of the SNAP and other things and not let the federal government control their funds anymore. So he was saying that when the states declare a state of emergency so they can give the people, funds through the emergency funds, then they wouldn't rely on the government anymore, and then they would just do their own thing individually. Each state would do its thing individually. I mean, not all of them, but states today, and he was right about that too, because, well, I think it was the next day though, will declare state of emergencies, and then they will use emergency funds to get food to the people. Government can reimburse the states later. Well, everyone should be prepared for almost something you wouldn't expect. Well, this is definitely something you wouldn't expect. All right, and then there's something else, but that doesn't relate to that. So going back here, wow, where do you see this? All right, so I got to get into this. Wow. So this is nuts. Let me get to the next page. Oh, let me get to the page where he gets out of the way. There we go. Going government shutdown. All right, so this is insane. So I don't know what's going on, why this is happening, but Trump administration is rejecting using $5 billion in contingency funds, supposedly because they need the money for natural disasters, and they use Tropical Storm Melissa which is already strengthened into a major hurricane. They're using that as reason why we need those funds for disasters. Come on now. When has the government lately helped people out? All these floods and fires and stuff? Come on. But anyway, they could also divert funds from some other agency or fund or whatever and put it into that, and then have something else for emergencies. Come on, we're sending so much money overseas. Why don't we just hold on to that money and use it for our people, for our country? This is what I don't understand. Here's the America First thing. That's not America First. So this is going to divide people. This is going to really make people upset when they know that, their food stamps could be at least continued for another month at least. My goodness, this is going to be bad. This is really going to be bad. Wow. So the money, gosh, this is insane. And I know you guys are saying people are up in arms about just losing their food stamps on November 1st, threatening to go to stores and just walk in and steal food. And then other videos saying that they're going to wait outside for people to come out with food and steal their food. This is insane. This is going to cause a civil WAR. What? And all right. All right. And of course, they're blaming each other. The Republicans are blaming the Democrats because They're the ones that are blocking the funding. But the Democrats are saying, well, the Republicans can use the emergency funds to feed the people. They're doing this on purpose to divide the people. This could cause people to say, I've had it, we've had enough. We're going to go to the White House and blah, blah, blah. Right? But then what if, I don't know why I think of these things, but, what if right at that time they're waiting for the people to actually start to do this stuff, and then blam, a blackout happens. Now there's no electricity. Now there's no internet. Now there's no gas in the gas pump, so nobody can go to the White House to protest. Wow. And then people are on their own. And what if it happened now in the wintertime? I mean, it's not really considered winter yet, but it's getting cold. We've been getting down into the upper 20s lately up here. So, wow. So this is the time where we really need to get rooted in Christ. We need to really get right with God. We really need to be in the Bible. We really need to be praying. And now to all the people that have been prepping and, storing up food and water, this might be the time where you're going to have to use it. There's going to be, I think, I've had this premonition that we're going to have two events. One's going to be a blackout, power out for weeks to a month or two, and then it'll come back on. And then that's when everybody's going to bow down to this digital ID, because they're going to put it out. They're going to say, this is why we need the digital ID in case something like this happens, even though it doesn't make no sense, because if a digital ID, if you had it and the power goes out, what good is the digital ID then? But they're going to push it that way, and then people are going to say, yeah, we have to have this, because otherwise you're going to lose your bank account, you won't be able to do this, do that, and then that's when they'll start implementing the system. And then, of course, they got to get it in before 2030. All these food pantries are going to be trying to serve people, and they will for the first few weeks or maybe a month, and then there's going to be food pantries running out of food all right away. I've already seen in Virginia where they had lines for hours, and they were federal employees, the federal employees that are not getting paid now. So I think, to me, it seems like they're doing this on purpose. They're trying to create a civil war. They're trying to get people divided. I mean, look at everybody's blaming the other, and it's totally one-sided. It's either I know, and a lot of us know that this is both sides doing this, but a lot of people think that it's one side or the other, and the other side is the one that's causing all these problems, and they're the ones that are causing them to have problems, with no food, whatever, Wow, this is not good. This is not good. And we haven't even hit November 1st yet. What's going to happen when we actually hit November 1st and there really is, because a lot of people probably think, oh, well, they'll just decide this at the last minute and everything will go on like normal. We'll get our food stamps. Everything will be fine, blah, blah, blah. But what if it's not? I think everybody needs to be prepared for stuff like this. I mean, not everybody's on food stamps, but it's going to trickle down, because the people that are working are going to wind up getting punished for it somehow, because if these people are serious and they go and steal, just think of all the people that are hardworking and they're not using food stamps, and they did their job by doing their job and making money, and then they go to the store and then they get robbed. How is that fair? So no matter what, that's going to be happening too. And then the people that are working are going to be complaining because, hey, I'm not even on food stamps. Why am I getting punished? This is going to be very bad. We are also got the ice thing going on, the ice raids. What in the world is George Soros going to be able to fund the protests for no food stamps? What is going to happen? This is insane. All right. So everybody, please get right with God and trust in God, because that's where we're going to get our help. The government's not going to help us. People aren't going to help us. God's going to help us. So put your trust in God now, please. Please. All right. Thanks for watching. God bless. And, don't worry. I'm getting upset, but I'm not fearing, because I know God's got me. And if you got God, you got nothing to worry about. God will provide to his people. But this is going to be something major, I think. Thanks for watching. God bless.